What is up, everyone? StonePost34 here, bringing you a bit of a serious commentary, and this is because my grandfather just passed away, and I'm gonna take you through this. There's a lot of things going on, but let me back it way up. We're talking 1954. My mom was adopted. Actually, it was 52, and in 54, my grandparents got a divorce, and my mom went with her mother, and then she remarried, and then her adoptive father is the gentleman who just passed away, and it's just a weird feeling. I know it's convoluted. So my mom was adopted by this gentleman, and they had a brief relationship. I wouldn't say brief, but just it was spotty at best. And I met him twice, I think. Now, my grandfather, if you've watched any of the Growing Up with Stone Posts, my grandfather, well, I had two. Actually, I had three. I could have had the best of all worlds. But my grandfather, actually, who I called Grandpa, was not legally my grandfather, but he was loving. He was there for me. He was the gentleman who taught me how to fish. He was the guy that taught my brother how to do woodworking. This guy did wonders for me as a person. If you watch the one where he asked me if he taught me how to drive. He asked me if I wanted to smoke his pipe. Not the pipe you're thinking about, but he was the man that was there for me all along. But let's get back to the other grandfather. Now, we lived in a small community, or they did, and we'd come back and visit. We lived there for a few years, but I met him twice, and I can recall the last time I met him. We were actually at a diner. It was called a co-op, which is a cooperative, and they had a diner there. We're talking rural Kansas, guys, okay? We're talking combines, we're talking wheat trucks, we're talking harvest season. And we pull up into this diner, my grandfather, who I called Grandpa, and we sit down to eat. We pull. I think I was 9 years old. We pull up a seat at the bar, the breakfast bar, not the bar, and we start ordering. And then my grandfather, who's I didn't know at the time was not technically my grandfather, and it didn't matter. You know what? My kids have gone through this, and I'll get to that at the end of the story, but my grandfather took me over. He said, I want you to meet someone. And he said, this is Albert. And I said, well, nice to meet you. And, you can tell in someone's eyes and their face when it's more of a casual encounter of, glad to meet you. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go back to eating my meal, to glad to meet you. How's school going? How's your family? You look great. It's just different. And that's the kind of reaction I got from him. And I didn't know why. So we get back into the truck after we ate, and my grandfather, who's not actually my grandfather, said, that's your grandpa. And it was really weird at the time, and I'm kind of getting choked up a little bit right now thinking about it, because that was a gentleman that I wasn't able to share any time with, and I didn't know at the time. I know now because he just passed away. But it's weird how life happens. We lived in an area where we could have been nearby and close with him, and shared Christmases and all these things that life affords you, but it never happened. And it's a sad state of affairs. So let's get back to my grandparents, who I called grandparents. Now, my mom was adopted. They got divorced, and I keep saying they, but my grandma June and Albert got a divorce, and then Lawrence, who is my grandfather, who I thought was my grandfather. He is. You know what? He was always there for me. There for football practices, football games. That guy did it all. He was a farmer. He was an engineer. He worked at Cessna in Wichita. This guy did it all. And he left me with so many fond memories. So, but this, I go back and I look, and I'm looking at all these fond memories I have, and my dad's father, we have all these memories, and then my mom's dad, who was actually not my dad, and I thought, you know what? Just looking back today, I'm like, this is a gentleman who I never met, and I say never met, never fully, truly knew, and feel like we could have had so much more. It's just a sad, sad state of affairs, and I don't want to call it politics, but their family politics got in the way of, not just for me, but my brother, my two sisters. We could have had this relationship, and he died just at 91. And I was talking to Kal-El today, and I'm like, you know what, my grandfather died. And it's a weird feeling, because when someone passes away, I get pretty emotional. I start looking back and thinking about life and opportunities, missed opportunities, great stories, great friendships, and I didn't have any of those, and it just felt empty. I don't know. I feel bad. I've kind of getting deep on you guys, but you know what? This is me. It felt really empty to know that I actually had a grandfather who passed away that I didn't know. And so I guess what I'm asking you guys to do, and it may be a big deal, it may not be a big deal, whether it's your parents, your grandparents, it could be a sibling, could be, if you're older, it could be an aunt, an uncle. If you're having issues, you know what, guys, it's not worth it, man. It's this life happens fast. I'm 36. I'm laughing because I feel like I play these games and do all these things because I'm just a kid at heart. But I'm 36 years old now, and I'm going to be 37. My kids are, in a few years, going to be in junior high, which is your age. A lot of you, that's your age. So I don't know. It just kind of hit me odd today, and I thought, you know what? I want to share it with you guys, and I'm sorry if I got a little emotional with it, but you know what? That's me. I'm not going to apologize for it too much, and you can give it a dislike if you want. You can give it a like. I don't care. But what I want to share with you guys is, take that opportunity. No matter how deep the wound, no matter how deep the scar, no matter how many issues you're having, give it that extra try. Give it that second chance, and make it work. Because life's too short. So, I don't know. That's about it, guys. I really appreciate you watching, and I'm sorry I got really deep on you tonight. But I just felt like this is something I wanted to share, and I hope you enjoyed it. So, anyway, take care as always. This is Stonepost 34.